So in this video we are going to be looking at some of the Chrome developer tools and how to use them, and especially in web analytics. So let's get right into it. Firstly, in Chrome you could open the developer tools just by right clicking on the website and clicking on inspect, or you could even use the shortcut which is Control Shift and I. So this will be open here, and firstly let's see elements. Now as you can see, this might look quite familiar just because it's an HTML code of this website. So you could if you wanted to select a certain element, you could use this. You could hover over the element and you can see that it's selecting that element or the div or the whole body. So whatever you hover upon, it will select that and highlight the code for it. Suppose I left click on this now, the code automatically gets highlighted. So you could even edit as HTML, edit attribute, add attribute. Suppose I were to edit as HTML, here it's written Alex Smith. Suppose I write dummy name, and so you can see it got changed, but this change will only be for the inspect, for as long as you're in inspect mode. So it won't actually apply to the website, it's just for you to inspect. Similarly, you could see that these are the CSS properties, and you could make changes here as well. Suppose color, you want to change it to red, you can see it got changed to red, right? Then this is basically the box model, as we call it, which is more or less the layout of your site. This is the content, this is the padding, border and margin, and all of this together it makes the box model, which is this. Again, you have your CSS properties here, right? Then the layouts. So all your divs, your navigation bars, your different sections, they all come under your layout, even the lists. Then you have event listeners, and you have these different event listeners that are there: click, blur, focus. We have already seen all of the. Click is just when you click anything or anywhere. Focus is when there's a text field and you click inside it and you're in focus mode, and blur is when you click outside of it. So all these things we have seen, and these are exactly that, right? Then let's go back here. You could one use case for this would be, you can copy the selector here or copy the JS path, and we have already used that in our previous videos where we set up a trigger for element visibility. I'll just quickly show you. If you go to triggers here, in element visibility, we had set it so that when this element is visible, 100% of this element is visible, only then should the tag fire, which is linked to this trigger, right? Fires on all visibility events. Minimum percentage visible was 100%, and element selector, we got it from here. We right clicked on this and copy selector. So this is one use case for it, right? Now, and in elements you could go here and choose preferences. These are just appearances, light mode, dark mode. So these are basically your preferences, right? Then workspace, if you want to create workspaces. Then experiments, these are features that are not uh, officially launched, but they are in testing mode or beta mode, so you could use these as well. Ignore list, right? If you want to skip through the scripts, all right. Then devices, this is a feature I'll show you. So if you click on this, you can choose what device you want it to be shown like, right? So you could change it to iPhone SE or Surface Duo, and it would automatically change according to the device. You could even add more devices, as we saw here, right? So throttling, basically you can check the performance of your site by putting different values and seeing how it performs with those values. Locations and shortcuts, yeah, these are certain shortcuts that you could use. Then moving on to console. Now, there's different things you could do in the console. This is basically where you interact with your JavaScript. So you could do various different things here. You could use the console to log something. Suppose I want to show a message, console.log. I'll just type hello world, and we can see hello world. Similarly, you could even we have previously seen how we can use it to push values into the data layer or even see the data layer. So let's say I say window dot data layer. It will show us our data layer, and according to the index number it will show what all is getting inserted into the data layer at what point, right? Then we also saw window dot data layer push dot push. This is how we would push a certain value into a data layer. So now it will be 9 right, there will be 9 items. Window dot data layer, yeah, there's 9 items. And similarly window dot data dot pop to remove the last value. So user id 123 was removed. So these are the different things that we have seen in console. You could do more things like these. You could send an error message, console dot error, and this is an error. Or you could even send a warning, console dot warn, this is a warning. And as I said, you could interact with JavaScript, so you could even run your functions here. Suppose let's start with the basic one. Let's say 10 plus 15, so it will give you that. Now if you were to use a function, so function add a comma b, right? Then return a plus b. I want it to return a plus b. So I have created a function here. Of course it will show us as undefined because we haven't used any values. So these are the parameters we have to pass. So now we'll just add, this is the function, right? Add 50 comma 70. So it will automatically give us the value. So this is how you could use JavaScript in your console, right? Now of course you could define one of the values here as well, or both the values here. So function add, let's say I define a as 10, right? Let's say I keep a like this and I define b as 10, and then return a plus b and close it, right? Now my b is defined but my a is not defined, so add 30, right? B is already 10. If I add 30 it will be 40. So this is another example of how you could use JavaScript in the console, right? Then you can, if we go to sources, you can see these are the various source codes that you'll have. So this is our website, the folder of our website, and that you can find the the CSS. You can find the source for it, the index. So all these things you could find in the source. And breakpoints. Suppose you have a certain code as we have here, and you want the debugger to stop on this line, right? So when it loads, it comes to this line, you want the debugger to stop here, so you'll just click here, and this blue tick means that you have added this as a breakpoint. So your debugger will stop at this point, it will be paused at this point, right? Then you could even use your console to do this. Suppose let's say console dot log a, right, and shift plus enter, console dot log b. Then I'll add the debugger here, which means I'm using this line as a breakpoint, so my debugger will pause at this point. And after this, if I suppose write console.log c, we'll, if I press enter now, we'll only be able to see a and b, we won't be able to see because our CC because our debugger will have stopped at this point. So let's see, it goes to our sources, right? So in you can see paused in debugger. So in console, A is visible, B is visible, but we can't get this because it got paused here, right? So then there's network as well, where you can find your various resources and see if those requests are getting sent successfully or not. So this is something that we are going to be covering in detail in the next video. So we'll look at this then. Then there's different other stuff you could do. Go to application. Here you would find your local storage, your session storage, and you could push data in here using console. Then you have your cookies, and we have seen how we can use this as well. You could use variables. So yeah, you could use first party cookies by just going into your. So this is for your application. Then there's other stuff like security, where you can see that this page is secure, the connection is secure, all that stuff. And there's performance, if you want to record your performance and have a closer look at it, how it performs. So there's performance for that. Then Omnibug is actually a tool again, which we'll be seeing in the later videos, right? And we'll even be looking more into console and how we can use the different tools in the console. So yeah, for this video this was pretty much all for it. How you can, it was just an introduction to developer tools, Google developer tools, and how you can use them in web analytics. Specifically, the examples I used were mainly related to web analytics, but yeah, this was pretty much all for the video. Thank you for watching.